me ask you a philosophical question. What is confidence? As a video confidence coach, I should probably know the answer to that. And by happenstance, I do. If you're tired of the old cookie cutter marketing advice and want to take your personal brand to the next level with bold, actionable strategies that truly reflect you, you're in the right place. Let's untangle your marketing mayhem with Zoe, the video confidence coach, on the Unboring Your Brand podcast. Unboring Your Brand was recorded on Wadawurrung land. I did actually have the answer back in the recesses of my mind, and I'll tell you why, because, so let me put this into context. So I was having a walk along the Barwon River down here in Geelong with a good business friend of mine. So I regularly go on walks with business associates. I highly recommend that if you are able to go on walking meetings with like mentors or with business friends, or if people just want to catch up and have a coffee, recommend going on a walking meeting. It is, you definitely feel a lot better. And of course, that is coming from someone who is physically able. So if you aren't, don't push that. But in those moments, I found them really useful and really helpful. But again, tangents aside, Zoe. So I was having a chat with a good workmate of mine, Hayden, and we were obviously walking along the river. And a lot of our conversations end up being a very ADHD web of nightmare. So the tangents kind of spiral off themselves and pinpoint them and ping pong off themselves, very much like a pinball in a pinball machine. But eventually we kind of like got to the end of a conversation, got an end to a like conversation point or topic. And then he just kind of hit me with what is even confidence? And I took a breath, paused, and then said, without really skipping a beat, confidence is just practice. And then they looked at me like they were just confused, because they're like, A, how was that quick for you to be able to come up with an answer like that? But also just kind of looking at me like, what? So I provided him a full explanation, of which now I'm going to provide you in podcast form. And also with my notes in front of me, because as per usual, our tangents go for way too long and way too messy, which do not need to be in this podcast today. So ultimately, confidence, as you can imagine, the video confidence coach, it is the middle word of my name that a lot of people confuse with conference. And my apologies if I do not enunciate confidence enough whenever I communicate myself or reach out to you. So my apologies if you've ever considered me video conference coach. No, I am video confidence coach, because confidence is a very loaded word in our society and in our culture. But because confidence itself isn't a feeling, it's more of a habit. Now, of course, you feel it in yourself, you feel it in your body, you feel it in your gut, you feel it in your chest, and you feel it in your heart. That's where a lot of feelings come into it. But when you're actually focusing onto it, confidence is ultimately a habit. It's not necessarily mystery, it's more of a muscle memory. And the reason that I reference this and bring this up is because when people aren't confident in a particular area or area of, say, their work, what they're doing, or their messaging, or they're not confident in the way that they do that, like format, or the way that they present that message. Again, I'm mainly talking to people who are building their personal brands, because obviously that is what I do, that is why you're here. But also confidence is a far-reaching thing throughout your life and throughout whatever you end up doing in life. You need confidence in what you end up doing and saying and presenting yourself to the world. You have control of yourself. Most of us, and most of the time, have control of ourselves to be able to make that confidence a muscle memory. So in turn, you don't get confidence and then act. You have and what a lot of people think is, I need the confidence to do the thing that I need to do. Ultimately, no, you need to have the confidence first in yourself to then do the action, and then you kind of snowball into the effect of actually getting confidence from there. Because, as I mentioned, it's not necessarily something that you just get or you spark, it's because of practice. Do you feel confident in being uncomfortable? Do you find yourself in uncomfortable situations somewhat regularly, to the point where you can feel confident in your own ability to handle the stress? You feel your own ability to feel confident in handling when things are outside of your comfort zone. That is what confidence is. Confidence grows where consistency grows. Now, I'm not talking consistency in your marketing. Now, of course, that is my shtick. But when I'm focusing particularly on confidence is making sure that you consistently grow that confidence within yourself and your own actions and your own words to be able to bring out that confidence into new, uncomfortable areas that you may not be familiar with. So, there's a lot of people that I talk to. So say, for example, I was mentioning this with Hayden, that some people are very confident in chaos. They can be in situations, say, for example, like triage nurses, firefighters, people who are in very calm in situations of utter madness and chaos. But I'm going to tell you now, for a lot of people on the outside, if you are, have someone in your life who is one of these workers, thank you. I send them the thanks from me. They do a lot of great work in the community. And in that situation, it's not a case that they magically gain this confidence. And they'll tell you this if you talk to them yourselves. They don't come across it, or they don't think of it as something that they've magically developed over time. It's training. They've trained to be calm under pressure. In turn, they've practiced this, and they've done it so often throughout their working lives and in their experience to the point where they can do it so for a job, for a living. Well, for a lot of people like this, they don't exactly make a living out of it, but let's not get into that today. Please pay your emergency workers. Thank you, government. So when it comes to those situations, they would very much answer. Now, of course, I'm not speaking on behalf of people who do this great work, but when it comes to people who you can think of who are confident in that chaos, there are so many things that they've done and mistakes that they've made in the past so that they've not exactly brushed themselves up, but more they've practiced and made it a muscle memory to make sure that the panic within themselves doesn't win. There is a lot of people who I talk to, who I work with. So, for example, I work with a lot of coaches, but mainly, to be honest, I work with a lot of women and non-binary folk who have a message to say. And a lot of people that end up working with me are people who've had experience in their industry, in their niche, or working with the people that they're focused on for a very long time. So in turn, they have made a lot of mistakes. And even now, after a lot of experience, they still feel the panic. But they push that down, not to dissuell it, not to get rid of it, but they push it down because it's not for them. The confidence rises through, the calm prevails because it's a thing that they've practiced, so they're less likely to just kind of feel like they're just holding everything by the belt of their pants and just going for a ride. But they're also able to reflect on, I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for others. Therefore, the calmness pulls through. The panic doesn't win. Even if they are feeling panicked, the panic doesn't win. And that is what confidence is for you, and especially in your personal brand. And it's also ultimately, confidence in your brand is the same deal. When creating content or marketing yourself, so those two things are not necessarily equal, but they're fairly interchangeable. Posting, podcasting, pitching, it gets easier the more you do it, the more practice you have, the more training that you have. You're not born confident on camera. You build it. If you are feeling nervous, that is okay. Because it doesn't mean that you're not ready. It doesn't mean that you need to completely turn everything off and or run away from your dreams or what you want to actually achieve with your personal brand. It doesn't mean that you aren't worthy of it in some sort of Excalibur way. It means that you're still growing, that you're still adapting, that you're still bridging that comfort zone to be that level of confidence for you. Throughout our lives, our confidence zone within ourselves grows and grows and grows as we experience new things, meet new people, come across challenges within our lives and in our business. And as you overcome those challenges, you grow. Your comfort zone grows. And with that comfort comes confidence. Comfort comes confidence. There's a lot of little words that I'm coming across in this particular episode today. And I want to stress that in situations where you don't feel comfortable doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be confident. So what I mean by that is that being safe but uncomfortable, that's the sweet spot when it comes to your confidence. Knowing that you are still safe in what you are doing and where you are and how you're helping people and how you're serving people, but it's still a little bit uncomfortable because it's not within your comfort zone. It's slightly outside of it. And that is where the confidence comes in. Not just in your messaging, not just in your branding, not just in how you show up, like physically how you show up, and not just in how you reach out to your clients and your target market and how you like to help people. It's not just all that. Yes, it is collectively backing up everything that you do. The confidence comes from within you, and it doesn't come from avoiding the fear. It comes with actually embracing it and walking through it. Once you become practiced in something, not that it feels routine and boring, but it becomes a habit that you are able to extend to help and serve others. Because that's what your personal brand is ultimately. You're there to serve others. And if you can practice being nervous, if you can practice feeling on edge, if you can practice being a little uncomfortable. Now, I want to stress, safety, but uncomfortable. You are still safe. You are still in a situation that you are safe. You ultimately have control over your own personal brand. You ultimately have control over who you help. And of course, you are in a privileged position where you got this opportunity to help and serve other people. That is what we need and that is what we want when you're growing your personal brand. But you ultimately are still safe. You're still bodily, mentally safe. So when it comes to bridging that confidence, maybe doing something that is not going to completely, throw you over the edge into a panic attack, like someone I can talk about. Doing small steps to build up that training and build up that practice to be able to bridge that confidence into wherever you want to put your focus. This can be something as small as, say, posting the thing that you've been thinking about for too long. Just do it. Saying a weird joke to the cashier at Woolies. Maybe just talking to a stranger and just seeing where it goes. Not expecting anything out of it, just being polite. And say, for example, I recently, something that built my confidence is recently I had to change a tire. Now, I want to stress, this isn't the first time I've changed a tire. I've done it plenty of times because of all the crap boxes I've had as cars throughout my life. But this time I felt a little uncomfortable because I was dressed in my gym gear. I was on a main road in Geelong and I just wanted to get home. So I went there and I started to, prepare everything and start undoing the lug nuts, as I was informed. And I felt confident enough that I could do it. I watched a YouTube video to refresh my memory on how to do it. And I felt confident because I knew that I had that practice, not just from doing it before, but the wherewithal of I felt safe enough in a community to do it. Yes, I could have gotten insurance or, someone else to come do it, a professional come out and do it, but I'm just going to do it and leave. But as I did this, strangers saw me, obviously with my hazards on, because safety first, people. Even strangers were coming up asking, do I need help? Not just because, hopefully it wasn't just because I was a woman, but they saw, hey, you've got your hazards on, you're changing a tire, do you need help? Are you okay? And I had to thank them for their generosity and their time. And I ultimately felt safe enough. Also, I had very heavy weaponry in my hands that if anything came to blows, I had physical heavenly weaponry. But other than that, I felt comfortable and safe enough to do the task that was at hand, that was to overcome the challenge that was in front of me, which was to change my tire, get home, and then fill it up with, and then deal with all the consequences from there. The reason I give you that tangent is because that was a new experience for me that I haven't experienced in a very long time. But I felt comfortable enough and felt safe enough to be able to do that. And even though strangers were coming up asking I needed help, they were doing it out of a sense of grace and a sense of gratitude and wanting to help a stranger. So in the event for yourself, What can you do, or what activity can you do, either within your brand or within your business, or even out just in public, to start pushing or training that part of your brain? Because again, ultimately this confidence thing is a brain thing, not exactly a physical thing. That wants to hide, that wants to pull away, that wants to just move away and keep yourself safe at all costs. Because of course, the brain is lovely at trying to keep us safe, even when it's trying to keep us away from experiences. So in that moment and in that time, I want to ask you why practicing matters more than the actual perfection of the task. Because confidence is about just knowing that you can do it. The feeling inside yourself that you can do it, that you can, talk on stage, that you can talk in a live stream, that you can get your message out there, that you can communicate to your audience effectively. Whatever your task is, of course, personal branding, marketing side, hat on, you're not going to do it flawlessly. You're not going to do it without mistakes. Hell, I stuff up within this episode multiple times. You're aiming for familiar. You're aiming for something that's within your realm of capability to start building your confidence. Because again, it is a habit. You are training yourself to get to that stage. Confidence is knowing that even if you stuff up, that you survive. Because again, we're doing this in a safe place. And even if it turns out terribly, if it turns out crap, if everything goes to hell, your audience knows that you are doing it for them. Because that's where you are. You're coming from a space and a time where you are doing it for them. So ultimately, they understand that it may not be completely perfect, but they understand that you're still learning. Because everyone is. No matter what professional expert, no matter what guru you've seen out online, or anyone that maybe you role model yourself on because you see them as the beacon of confidence, they still make mistakes. They're still learning. So give yourself that credence and that possibility that you are allowed to make mistakes too as you build your confidence. Because remember, confidence is practice. Your confidence ultimately should serve someone else, and hopefully serve your audience or serve your customer avatar, who isn't exactly real, but you're still serving someone outside of you. And you're doing so not just with your personal brand or your brand in general or your small business, because you're talking to me here, Zoe the Video Confidence Coach, but you're also doing it for your own benefit. Confidence isn't strutting around like you're on The Apprentice. It may feel like that politically, but it's definitely not what it is in the day-to-day life. It's also not for your ego. It's so that your message lands. The confidence that you are able to express your message with heart and with emotion so that you can tell people who are experiencing maybe the problems that you are there to fix, or at least to make better, that you've got something to say, and the confidence helps you say it. Because again, it's all background, helping you push forward the message that people need to hear. And if you can do it, you can actually do it with the confidence behind you, especially with the practice that you give yourself. You don't wake up in this world knowing what you're going to do ultimately. You're going to practice. You're going to learn, you're going to grow, and you're going to build up that confidence in yourself to actually do what you know that you want to do in this world. And building your personal brand is a part of that. Everyone at the end of the day has a personal brand, whether they want to admit it or not. And if you want to take control over that, you need the confidence to be able to tell people what you're on and all about. The way I talk to you here is how I talk to my clients, but also this is something that I've practiced over time. This confidence that people see or genuinely see me having or exuding in some cases is because of practice. You can get to that point too if that's where you want to be. But you've got to put the reps in first. You've got to put the time and you've got to put the effort in first to be at this level or above. I'm still nervous. I still get nervous at times. And when everything was going behind the scenes, it was going completely wrong. I had so many technical issues, but I wanted to be here for you and I wanted to be able to give you this message. So in turn, here we are. So if you ever looked at someone, a role model, a guru, or even someone in your own life or your own family or friend group, and thought to yourself, they're just so naturally confident. I'm never going to be like that. Well, I'm going to tell you now. This is friendly neighborhood Zoe here. I'm going to be telling you, nah. They are just more practiced than you, and that's all. And even if they are in a situation that they have never experienced in their life before, they just might be more confident or practiced in feeling that nerves, feeling that dread, feeling that fear, and doing it anyway. Confidence is practice. And even if there was a splash of awkward fumbles, maybe a few dodgy jokes, maybe some things don't land the way you want them to, you want to feel confident in your business and in your brand, and ultimately in the content that you use to communicate with your target people. So in turn, you don't need a secret formula. You need to practice. So, all in all, I said all of this and probably much more to Hayden, and he got the idea of what confidence really is and has started using it in his business. And from there, being able to realize, and even realize in himself, that confidence comes. And when it comes, it's something that he is able to use to his advantage to help ultimately the people he serves. So, hi Hayden, hope you enjoy yourself. And thank you everyone for listening to today's podcast. Make sure you give us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and let us know how you found the podcast, because I'd love to know. I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Unboring Your Brand podcast. Thank you for listening or watching Unboring Your Brand. You can find detailed show notes with tools, offers, and episode transcriptions. Just click the first link in the description or go to vcc.training/podcast. Get involved and ask me anything about personal branding, video strategy, or just a friendly small business chat via my email, g'day@vcc.training. That is gday@vcc.training. The Video Confidence Coach would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I record my podcast. I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Look forward to me chatting at you next week, superstars.